Well, hello everybody, Mr. O here, and welcome to Cover Illustrations Part 2. Now, I'm sure I'm going to add prompt or something like that to the title, but we're going to call it good there. So, as I mentioned in the last video, and you probably saw that I'm going to be using color pencils. I'm going to teach the hard blender. I'll explain what I mean by hard blender. Now, I'm going to use two different kinds of color pencils. My students probably won't have too much of an access. I only have one kind of portrait set in the classroom, and so I'm going to have to figure that out for them. I think we'll have base portrait colors already. They're going to be using the Blick color pencil set, which is supposed to be on par with Prismacolors, and we're all going to find out together if that's true, because this will be my first time using them. And I actually should just start opening up everything. And as you can see, I laid some skin tones out. I have a blender. This is a Blick Studio blender, and I do have a Prismacolor on hand. Now, when I sharpen, I always use hand sharpeners. The other thing I use, or I should say I do with, I don't sharpen to a pointy point. It makes it much better. Now, I am going to take that probably to the paper a little bit just to kind of get some of the markings off, or just to make sure it doesn't smudge other colors. I'm going to close that up. And the other thing I probably should state, I don't need a pencil extender for this just yet, but maybe in a little bit. And a pencil extender is great if you've never seen one. You just add it, and it allows you to use up your color pencils. Because if you're using Prismacolors, even this Blick brand, they're very expensive. Now, why are they more expensive than Crayola or Crazy Art? We don't talk about Rose Art. The reason they're much more expensive is the pigment and the wax concentration is better. They're richer in color, they're softer, they're easy to color with, and you can blend, especially with the blender. Now, I had called this the hard blender. There is a liquid blender, like if students of mine, after they do this project, as they get to more advanced classes, I will teach them the liquid blender. Sometimes we can go too fast in our learning. Some people are able to handle it. Others, it's best to build up to something. Now, I'm not worrying about what the tips are. Now, I've made swatches in the past of color pencils, but I'm going to tell you something, and this might be just me. I just want to see what the colors are, but the swatches I've made, I've learned that when I bought my pencils, they can be a little bit different. So I just always like to test my pencils out and stuff like that. Now, when it comes to coloring this with color pencil, your probably first instinct is, I'm going to color this character first. It's actually going to be my character, the gray, that I'm going to color first. And it's not because he's like the main character of the story, but as you can see where my hand is, I can color that, and as I go, because just like graphite, color pencil likes to smudge, but it also, like graphite, you can kind of see that I went a little too dark. Now, could I ink this picture first and then use the color pencil? Absolutely. But I am trying to get away from the hard black outlines. I don't know about you guys, it's a safety net, and I just want to do a cover illustration that's a little more tame, that's going to separate itself from the black outlines of the book. And so I'm going to basically just kind of use the color pencils for my outline. So if I'm doing skin tone, it'll probably be, and it's a lighter skin tone, it'll be a browner. And if anybody has a brown skin tone, it'll be more of a darker brown for an outline. Now, as you can see, I really got my Kneaded eraser very, very dirty. And it's because I drew a really dark. I was pressing a little hard. I go through phases where it just seems like no matter what I do, it comes off a little dark. And I'm using a Soho Bristol board, which kids say it's really easy to erase off of. And I will have to agree. I think I mentioned it in a different video that I don't know if it's because it's thinner than like a Stratford um, and it doesn't like carve into it. Um, it seems to be a little nicer than the Blick brand. And so I'm just going to get this so I'm not smudging, or at least smudging much. Like everything, pencils doesn't really get along with anything. And you have too much pencil on your paper, it just mixes in. And I'm going to have a lot of light colors, and I just don't want that. So forgive me if you think I'm wasting your time and showing you how I do this. But this was one of the questions with the eraser. They see me quickly do it. I try to explain, but I don't think I'm doing a good enough job. But now I hope you can see the difference from when I first started the video to what it is now, to how that's looking for like image. So I'm just going to take a moment. There's going to be a little bit of a transition, and I'm going to get everything I need set up, and I'm going to start coloring. All right, I had to get a tissue um, and sharpen a few of the pencils here. Since this is not my set, I don't know what I'm getting into, and I probably should have looked before I did a video. Now, this character, the gray, is going to be lighter skin. He is going to have Japanese descent, but also some Italian descent, and more Northern Italian, and there's a reason for that. So as I'm coloring, as you can see, I'm pressing kind of hard, and there's not much there, but I want to create some shadows, and I like to build up because he does have his like, it's like his hood collar. And I'm just kind of, like I said, working on the shadows, trying to make things a little darker. You know, how am I going to make the nose and stuff stand out, and maybe the edges. Now this is where maybe taking a color pencil a little more to the point. But as you can see, it didn't take much effort to make that look real solid. And I'm edging with the brown. And this is where I'm probably going to stop a little bit and switch to the blender. I know it's like, well, could I do it a little later? Absolutely. But I'm going to blend the brown kind of this direction. And I'm just smoothing everything out. And you can see I'm kind of creating a new color, because what I'm doing is I'm taking all the colors and blending them together. And this is the hard blender. As you can imagine, the liquid blender works the same way. And I still got my outline. Now I may want to just kind of find something a little more in the middle there. That's a little too red. Like I said, without having my own set, I'm always looking to see if I can find something just a tad bit lighter. So sorry for the distraction here. This is just true brown. On the Blick set, I'm just saying it has a light brown. And I'm just going to see if I can just get a little bit there and a little bit under the eye to cast the shadow. So I think I got there. Just because I put it in doesn't mean I need to blend everything. I think I just kind of got it. I hope that's coming through. I can just kind of enlarge that a little bit. Make that a little nicer for everybody. So sorry my camera here isn't as clean for movement. Now I am going to, he has a leather jaw thing. I don't know what that's called, actually. You think doing my own character, you think I would learn what everything is named, but I haven't. And now you'll notice that as I work, I'm actually creating, refining the image. So just because I sketched something didn't mean I was going to leave everything that was there. And I just wanted to kind of basically use the color pencils to help me. Having this little paper here is really nice. Like I said, it's good to keep a scratch paper by you. If you ever see me do markers, you really see that I do that. And because it's very important. Now I'm not going to add too much value to the brown jaw strap there, because if I add too much value, I think I'll just take away from the image and it'll just end up looking dark. I am going to, and I realized this pencil wasn't sharpened at all. I saw that it was new and I didn't really look to see if that it wasn't sharpened. And again, just more of a point because it's a smaller area. I'm just doing a little bit of the outline. I'm going to call it good there. Now I am going to do his red hair, and I'll just do the top of the cloak just so you can see the imaging. I'm hoping that I'm going to use a little bit of orange for some highlights. And I haven't decided. I know we see the moon, but it could be a little bit of a sunrise. And I haven't decided exactly. I think the tips are going to be red, so I'll use the point of the red color pencil. As you can see, I'm not going very clean. What I'm being very careful of is not to go beyond outside the lines. Something we're told many times. Sometimes it's good to go outside the lines. In this case, I'm going to say no, probably not good to go outside the lines. So now I'm going to take the red, which I'm going to have more of a point to, and I'm going to press a little harder just so it's more richer. I probably didn't pronounce that correctly. Just to kind of have those details. Now, why did I put the orange down first? Well, when you see me go with the blender, it will kind of lighten up the red a little bit, and I can leave some of the orange behind for highlights. Now, I was trying to be very careful on exactly how I do the orange. And I might have to go back in with a little more orange in some spots. But I'm doing a very small head. And if I was doing the young lady here, it would be a lot easier when I do her hair if I was doing it red. Of course, I made her hair silver, and there's a reason, and it has little magenta highlights. Some people might have seen that image before. It was the same image I drew on the computer, and I thought, it's a good pose to do for the cover. Look at that. This is one of the problems. All right, so let's talk about this now. If you have yourself a nice set of color pencils, you don't leave them in your bag, you don't bang them around, because they can shatter on the inside. Is there a way to repair them? Yes, there actually is. It takes a little bit of heat. I don't recommend anybody under 18 doing it, but you can heat them up, and you just can't take them to a stove or anything like that. It's a different thing, so I'll let you look that up. I'm not recommending any of that. But if you take good care of them, you don't have the issue. I'm going to pull this off camera, and as I'm talking, I'm trying to get this sharpened. I think I got a piece stuck. We got a little bit of a wedge going inside my pencil, my sharpener. So I cannot get things sharpened correctly, but I got it loosened. I knew there was something wrong. That wasn't sharpening right. So it doesn't take much for the sharpener to fill up. So I think that should be solid. I'm gonna just, let's see, find a can here just so I can dump this later. That way I'm not wasting too much of your time. This video is going long enough. But I hope you can see that this is really coming along. And notice I haven't had to do a black outline and I still have my image. So take the blender and I can blend the two colors. Now I want to be careful because I don't want to blend all the streaks away. Now could I go back in with the red and recreate the streaks? Absolutely. I can easily do that. And there I go. So guys, you know what? Let me do a little bit of the gray. Because I only have one gray color pencil, I'm gonna need the black. We always call it black, but we know it's actually like a dark gray because black doesn't actually exist. So I'm gonna use this to help guide me. And I'm going to color the black first. Now, you might think, okay, wouldn't I want to do the lighter of the two? Actually, when it comes to gray, I find that this is actually a little easier. As you can see, this is not going to take me very long. I'm going to just, and then I'm going to go in and press a little bit harder with the gray. And what's nice is I can actually, look at what I can do with the black. I can, going over the black, and wait till I take the blender to it. You will find that I can actually just keep adding value. Because if you've ever seen my character before, you know there's several different shades of gray on his uniform, costume, whatever you want to call it. Now, you'll notice that when I do the blender, I do go to direction of the, not the grain of the paper, but the grain of the costume. And that way, everything kind of flows together. And if I push hard on the black right here, going over that, I can really create, you know, the image, the value. And I hope, guys, I hope this is a good start for you to understand. And we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.